Hello, hello, my stamping friends. Happy Monday to all of you. It's Christine Ludwig here from Christine's Stamping Spot. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in St. Albert, Alberta. And welcome to my Mystery Monday video today, the last one for the month of May. Oh my gosh, do you believe we're going to be in June next week? Oh, time is flying. We are going to take a look at an embossing folder today. Now, it is part of this Valley and Bloom Suite collection from our new our new May to August catalog, and it is this one right here. So no, we're not going to be using the Valley and Bloom Suite today, but we are going to be using this embossing folder. So it's a large 3D folder called Floral Spray. And I will show you what that looks like. This is on page 22 of the catalog if you're looking for it. And it is this one. Sorry for the glare. I have the lights on overhead so I can see. So it is this large one. And I don't know if you can see the flowers in there. Can you see that on the camera? This is amazing. Now, unfortunately, after I did this, I realized this is now on back order. But you can definitely put in a notification on the online store in your cart that you will be notified when this comes back in stock. Now, sometimes the dates they put, product can come in a little bit earlier, so it's always a good idea to put in a little notification saying, yes, I'd like to be notified when this comes back in stock, and then they will email you if that is the case. I will also keep an eye on it, and will definitely post on my Facebook page if I notice that this is back in stock, because I know it has been really popular. Okay. So we are going to use this on our project. Like, this is a really large folder, right? And it has some really, like, you've got some Lily of the Valley in here. You've got this really big bloom. It's just really great. Here you can see a better picture of it. Okay, so this is what we're going to use on our project. Now, the one that I was inspired by was this one. This was from Laura Secchi of Southridge Studio. She's an amazing demonstrator. I just was drawn to the monochromatic look of this card, okay? And this uses a technique that probably you have all seen. It's been really making the waves on Pinterest and on Facebook. A lot of them call it an illusion technique, or I can't remember what the other one, there's a few terms for it, where parts of your card are raised and, you know, like every second level is raised. So I'm going to show you how to do that. And here I've just added a teeny bit of Wink Stella in the center. So this is out of very vanilla cardstock. And then I've used some sequins in here just for a bit of an accent. And I stamped congratulations in the black memento. So this would be amazing as a wedding card, an anniversary card, could even be a graduation card, or just for any happy congratulatory occasion, right? Or thinking of you even. You could switch up the colors very easily as well. Okay, so I loved this monochromatic, but we're going to do a little twist. So I thought, what if we add some color to it just to see the difference? And you guys can tell me which one is your favorite, okay? So the twist is this one, where I've added, yes, you guessed it, the hydrangea hue, one of our new in colors. And I've woven a ribbon through there and added a matte, stamped it in the hydrangea ink, and added some of the in color accents, embellishments there. We do also have the new hydrangea hue shimmer brush that, if you wanted, you could probably try accenting. I did on a scrap that I had try it on this, and it was just not quite what I liked, but you guys try it. the Wink of Stella is nice. It's very subtle, but if you want to try the hydrangea or, you know, a shimmer brush on any sort of floral image, feel free. Those shimmer brushes are amazing. And if you're not familiar, think Wink of Stella, but they're colored with our new in colors. Okay, so word has it, down the line, they will become available in more and more of our core colors as well. So something to really look forward to. All right, so let's put this version together with the color. Okay, so we're going to start with a piece of that very vanilla cardstock. 8.5 by 5.5 will be our base. I've got stuff all over my table. I did a class this weekend and I've got little bits that I haven't quite put away. And then I pull out new pieces for the project today. So I'm hoping you guys can relate, right? Okay, so then I cut a piece of that hydrangea hue, and this is this is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. Okay, so we will put that on top of our base. And then I think we can set this aside while we work with that embossing folder. Okay, so we will set this aside for now. All right, so this is what I did with the embossing folder. Now, I did this well, the measurements are like Laura's, but what Laura did on her card, okay, hers is the monochromatic. After she cut her strips, she just layered them directly on the card base, okay? And that's great. I like how, you know, easier that was. But because I wanted to put a ribbon through here, I couldn't really do that very easily with this being mounted straight on the card base. So what I decided to do is I'm going to cut my strips and then I'm going to layer them on a base that you won't see. Okay, it'll be underneath all these strips. So this is what I mean. So these two pieces are cut at 5 1/4 by 3 3/4. So you see how they match exactly. Okay, so this is the one I'm going to mount my strips on. And this is the one that I ran through the embossing folder and I'm going to cut into strips. Okay, so isn't that just beautiful? Oh, that is just so stunning. We have had one or two others that are like this type of an embossing folder, and they are really, really beautiful. I'm going to show you one of the projects we did at the class that uses this folder as well. So it can be as simple or as jazzed up as you want. Okay, so I'm just bringing out my paper trimmer. I hope you can see this. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut my strips. Now, there are different ways you can do this. I had done this with this technique with my Stamp Club ladies a month or two ago. And depending on how you cut your paper and if you want your orientation, landscape or portrait, you can decide the width of your strips. So for example, you just want to make sure that it's divisible by the inches that you are cutting. So for example, if you had one that was 4 inches across or even 4 inches this way, you could cut them all at 1/2 inch strips, right? Because you would get an even number of strips. The 1/2 inch works evenly into 4 inches. You could do 1 inch strips. But in this case, what Laura did and what we're going to try is we're going to cut them at 1/2 inch and then 3/4. 1/2 inch, 3/4, 1/2 inch, and then we'll be left through 3/4. So I believe we'll be left with about 6 strips that we have to mount. Okay, so this is what you do. You emboss your piece of paper first, and then we're going to start with the 1/2 inch cut. Now, the important thing to remember is once you've cut your strips, keep them in the same order on your work surface, right? Because that's the order you're going to want to adhere them on your card base. If they get mixed up, your pattern is not going to match up. Okay, you're going to have leaves here and petals here and whatever, and you will not get the same effect. Same if you're doing it on a piece of landscape designer paper, which is what I did with my club girls. There were various ones you can use. There's Thoughtful Journey, there was the Meandering Meadows, there's the Autumn Splendor, I believe. Any sort of designer paper with a pattern you can do, but just be careful that your pieces are all in the correct order after you cut them. All right, so we're going to start with a 1/2 inch, and that goes as well. Don't turn them upside down either, okay, because that could mess you up as well. Okay, don't ask me how I know that. All right, so then we're going to go to 3/4. Okay, put that right beside. We're going to do another 1/2 inch strip. And then we will do a 3/4. And then we will do a 1/2. And then you should be left, I believe, with about a 3/4 piece. It may be a little bit off, but let's see. No, it's pretty close to 3/4. Okay, so I have them in the order that I cut them, like this. Hope you can see this here. So I have 6 strips, 3/4, 1/2, 3/4, 1/2, 3/4, 1/2. So now you can decide which ones do I want to raise, which ones do I want to lay flat, okay? So on my sample here, the very first one I did, I laid flat. Now, what you might want to do first is lay these on top of your matching base piece, just to get a feel for the spacing of these. Now they are going to be adhered right next to each other. So you shouldn't have on this, if we cut it right, you shouldn't have much of an overhang, okay? So let me move these to the side in the same order, and I'm going to start with this for this piece. And I'm going to put this, let's put this flat again. We'll just go with the flow. Okay, so I'm going to put adhesive, and I'm going to put it right at the edge of this piece here. Now, on Laura's, you have to just be careful with your placement, okay? This is where laying them down first is a good idea, because she laid them straight down on her base. So you want to try to lay them down so you have a bit of the same size border around. Okay, your pieces should all match top and bottom. But I know when I first tried this technique, you know, I would be mounting them a little too far to the left or a little too far to the right, and then I'd have, like, you know, a wider edge. So just be aware of that when you're assembling the card, okay? Just lay it down first so you're happy with it. Okay, so now we're going to take the next strip, which is a 1/2 inch, and we are going to pop this up with some dimensionals, okay? You can use minis, you can use the regular ones. I'm using some of the edge pieces that I have, because this pack is almost finished, and it's a great idea to use edge pieces too. Okay, so let's take the backers off here. And one more. Okay, so then what you're going to do is lay this right next to that flat piece. I'm going to put this a little closer to me so I can see, just because it's all the same color. Just want to make sure that I'm not messing up here. Okay, so you're just going to fit it right next to that first one, and it's a little bit higher than the first piece. Okay, so now we're going to take our next 3/4 inch piece, and we're going to put that right next to this one, the third one, or sorry, the second one. So now we have our third piece down. Okay, so you can see the pattern is starting to match up there. And then our next 1/2" piece, we will put on with some dimensionals. Yeah, this, I mean, you could just really play around with lots of different measurements for your strips, with the patterns that you're using. You know, there are so many ideas right now with this technique on Pinterest, or even on, like I say, on Facebook. Everybody has been doing this technique, so you've probably seen it many times. You may have even already done this. But when I saw this card of Laura's, I was really like, oh my gosh, that is so beautiful. I have to try that monochromatic one. And, you know, it's amazing. I'm always just blown away by what our demos come up with, honestly. Where you put a spin on things, right? To kind of make it your own for sure. Okay, so there's our 3/4, and then we have our last 1/4" piece, which I think those ones are on the edge or running out. So at first I thought I'd have to use mini dimensionals on this strip, but actually our regular ones fit the 1/2". So that was a bonus. I find, yeah, the mini ones are a little bit smaller, of course, to work with, but they work too. Okay, so let's put our last piece on here. Probably take this away. Oh my gosh, did I put that on the wrong side? Oh my God, I did. Okay, note to self, don't put them on the wrong side. Oh my gosh, you guys, it's been a morning. Do you ever have those mornings where you know you've done things and then you can't find them and you're like, well, I'm sure I stamped that already, or you've done just a task at home. Like, I don't know what's wrong with me this morning, if it's just tiredness or what. It was kind of a busy weekend, but oh, okay. Okay, so this can happen too. So make sure that your strips are in the correct order, that they're not upside down from each other, and that they aren't turned in the other direction. So now, do I still have this lined up? Let me just see. I think I do. Or no, I think it goes this way now because I've messed myself up. Oh my gosh. The lighting is not helpful. Okay, here we go. Yes, we are this way. All right, I've been waiting for the sun to come out today, and it's just finally starting to come out here. I was expecting it to be sunny all day. Okay, there we go. All right, do you see that now? Ha, we did it. Just gonna move this one over a tad here so it's lined up. There. So flat, raised, flat, raised, flat, raised. And there you see that pattern in there. Oh, love it. So before I put this on that base, I am going to feed my ribbon through here. Okay, so I have the hydrangea hue bordered ribbon, which is beautiful. This type of ribbon comes in all of our new in colors. So I want to feed it just underneath the flower. Okay, so hopefully my dimensionals don't get in the way. So you're just going to feed it through where those dimensionals hopefully are not. Come on. Oh, for heaven's sakes. Oh, it's because I had one of those double pieces. That's why. Maybe the single ones would work better here. Okay, so let's get this through. I know this will go through. There we go. Through that one and through one more. Hopefully I can sneak that through too. another double one under there. So I'll just lift it enough to get my ribbon through. Yeah, if you use just the single dimensionals, then chances are you've got that space there. Okay, so we'll just make sure that is fairly straight. Okay. And then I'm just going to pull it a little bit longer on this edge. First, I'm just going to put some adhesive here before I cut my ribbon. Let's cut this ribbon. And we will put it there. And then make sure it's still fairly straight. That's okay, not too bad. Bend that around, and then I'm just going to secure it with a little bit of tear and tape so it does not come off. And I'm not going to worry about peeling the backing off because it's going to still get adhered on that other layer on the card base. I'll leave that. Okay, so the ribbon's not too bad there. Okay, so now we can bring it back and put it on our card base. Oh, okay. All right, so let's do this. And I will post all these measurements on the post so you know what size these strips were. But like I said, you can experiment, all right, with different sizes. Okay, so we have added a bit of color. So now what I did was I ran that embossing folder through another time and I just fussy cut this large flower out of there. So I'm going to pop this on dimensionals as well, and then we're going to lay it on top of this image that we have on our card base. Okay. So did all of you have a nice weekend? I believe it was Memorial Day for all of our American friends. We had a long weekend last weekend, our Victoria Day, but I believe you had Memorial Day yesterday. Always nice to have a long weekend. Okay, so let's try to line this up. I'm just going to lift this so you can put it straight on top there. Okay, so it does blend in, but you still do have some of that monochromatic feel to the card, even with the color. Okay, and then our greetings. So I stamped congratulations in Hydrangea Hue ink. Now it came from this Perfectly Pairs bundle. I love this bundle, and I noticed it just retired on March 6th. Okay, so I don't know if you have it, but I know Stampin' Up! Does not sell it anymore because now it's been retired, all 3 pieces. So the stamp set, the dies, and the bundle. And on my sample, I put Celebrate, and that came from the Beautiful Motifs bundle, which I noticed, I double-checked, is now on the last chance list. So you can still get the stamp set, the dies, or the bundle, and pieces of it may also be on sale. So that might be something you're interested in, but I like these greetings in here too. Okay, so that's where those came from. The Hydrangea Hue. Have you guys seen our new wonderful ink pads, our magnetic pads? They are amazing. Like poof, they just click shut. And what's nice is if you have another one, they stick on top of each other. Look at that, for storage, right? And you can label them. Oh, I labeled mine on the wrong side there. Oh, well. Yeah, so they stick on top of each other, and they are awesome. And they're great, you know, for anyone that's struggles with opening our other design, these are, much easier on your hands if you have any sort of arthritis or just can't get those other ones open. This is fabulous. And, you can stick them together like this too, on top of each other. And they, or no, I think you have to turn this around. There you go. And then they're magnetic this way. So when you're stamping, your lid isn't in the way, and you can label them there too. Now, just as a brief aside, we have our fabulous join promotion still for one more week. Some of these pads are also on back order. Okay, so they are only available right now, the magnetic ones, in our new in colors. I noticed some of them are on back order. However, if you want to join and purchase the new starter kit, you will get all of these for free. And even if there are some missing, they will send them to you as soon as they are available. And even some, I have heard, they've kept the full 5 of them aside to include with the starter kit, so you would still get them. Fabulous deal. Come in all the new colors, and a great way to get them. And you don't have to be a demonstrator to do a business. You can do this just as a hobby for yourself, your friends. Super, super great deal. You might want to consider. So I'd love it if you would consider being on my Creative Circle team. I'd love to have you. Okay, so I did celebrate on here. I did congratulations on this one. So let's put that here. This one, I do need some mini dimensionals. This die is also from the Perfectly Pairs. So the die is also in that bundle. So I cut this out perfectly. Now I'm not going to put it right on my ribbon because I want to see my ribbon. So I might put it just a little bit below. Okay. And then you can leave it like that, or we have our new 26, 28 in color dots, which come in all of our new in colors. So you have your Peaceful Pine, Hydrangea Hue, Crisp Cantaloupe, Golden Glow, and Barely Blush. Okay, so I'm going to put some of these hydrangea ones on here. You don't have to. You could also put on these ones were sequins that I put on Laura's card, and they were the Sunset Sparkle sequins. Okay, so I used the clear ones on that, on her design right here. Okay, where should we put these? They come in 2 different sizes, so you have large and a little bit smaller. So let's use those up. Do one there. Okay, folks, so which one do you prefer? Do you like just the total monochromatic, the vanilla on the vanilla, or do you like some with a bit of color? I don't know. I think they're both lovely. Great for weddings and anniversaries, that's for sure. Yeah, I don't know. I can't choose. I like them both, but I'd love to hear what you think. Let me know what your preference is. Okay. All right. So that is our last Mystery Monday for May. Next week, we will be in June. I think it's actually the first day of June next Monday. So we will see you back then, and hope you all have a wonderful week. Bye for now.